Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, our topic of discussion is going to be on chronic inflammation. We're going to talk about inflammation. What is inflammation? What inflammation does to the body? And we're going to discuss 6 steps to reduce inflammation. You can't see it or feel it, but inflammation may be slowly damaging your body. Inflammation, which is swelling, which is part of the body's natural healing system, helps fight injury and infection. But it doesn't just happen in response to injury and illness. An inflammation response can also occur when the immune system goes into action without an injury or infection to fight. Since there's nothing to heal, the immune system cells that normally protect us begin to destroy healthy arteries, organs, and joints. When you don't eat healthy food or get enough exercise or have too much stress, the body responds by triggering inflammation. Chronic inflammation can have damaging consequences over long term. So the food you eat, the quality of sleep you get, and how much you exercise, they're all really matter when it comes to reducing inflammation. So you may ask, what does chronic inflammation do to the body? Early symptoms of chronic inflammation may be vague, with subtle signs and symptoms that may go undetected for a long period of time. You may just feel slightly fatigued or even normal. As inflammation progresses, however, it begins to damage your arteries, your organs, and your joints. If left unchecked, it can contribute to chronic diseases such as heart disease, blood vessel disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and all types of other conditions. The immune system cells that cause inflammation contribute to the buildup of fatty acids in the lining of the heart's arteries. These plaques can eventually rupture, which causes a clot to form that could potentially block an artery. When blockage happens, the result is a heart attack. The most common way to measure inflammation is to conduct a test for C-reactive protein, which is termed hsCRP, which is the marker for inflammation. Doctors also measure homocysteine levels to evaluate chronic inflammation, and physicians test for HbA1c, a measurement of blood sugar to assess damage to red blood cells. So you may ask, what can I do to reduce the risk of chronic inflammation? Well, you can control, even reverse inflammation through a healthy lifestyle. People with a family history of health problems, such as heart disease or colon cancer, should talk to their physicians about lifestyle changes that support preventing disease by reducing inflammation. So let's look at 6 steps for reducing inflammation in the body. Number 1, load up on anti-inflammatory foods. Your food choices are just as important as the medication and supplements you may take for overall health, since they can protect against inflammation. Making good choices in our diet to include fresh vegetables and fruits, as well as reducing refined sugar intake, can make a big difference. Eat more fruits and vegetables and foods that contain omega-3 fatty acids. Some of the best sources of omega-3 are cold water fish, such as salmon and tuna, tofu, walnuts, flax seeds, and soybeans. Other anti-inflammatory foods include grapes, celery, blueberries, garlic, olive oil, tea, and some spices such as ginger, rosemary, and turmeric. Now, I've done an extended video on the benefits of turmeric, which I will also post. Let's look at number 2, cutting back or eliminated anti-inflammatory foods. An anti-inflammatory diet limits foods that promote inflammation. Inflammatory foods includes some red meat and anything with trans fats such as margarine, corn oil, deep fried foods, and most processed foods. Now, the Mediterranean diet is a perfect example of an anti-inflammatory diet. This is due to its focus on fruits, vegetables, fish, and whole grains, and limits the unhealthy fats such as red meat, butter, and egg yolks, as well as processed foods and refined sugars and carbs. Number 3, let's look at controlling your blood sugar. Limiting or avoiding simple carbohydrates such as white flour, white rice, refined sugar, and anything with high fructose corn syrup. Now, I know that pecan pie has a lot of high fructose corn syrup, And even though I truly love pecan pie, I try to avoid it. One easy rule is to avoid white foods such as white bread, rice, and pasta, as well as foods made with white sugar and flour. It's best to build meals around lean proteins and whole foods high in fiber, such as vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, like brown rice or whole wheat bread. Take the time, check the labels, and make sure that whole wheat or another whole grain is the first ingredient on the label. Number 4, make time to exercise. Regular exercise is an excellent way to prevent inflammation. But you must be consistent with exercise. Make time for 30 to 45 minutes of aerobic exercise and 10 to 20 minutes of weight or resistance training at least 4 to 5 times per week. Number 5, let's look at losing weight. People who are overweight have more inflammation. Losing weight may decrease inflammation. And that brings us to number 6, stress management. Chronic stress contributes in a huge way to inflammation. Use meditation, yoga, biofeedback, guided imagery, or some other method to manage stress throughout the day. You may not be able to change many of the stressful situations or change our response and perception by learning to manage stress better. We may not be able to change many of the stressful situations we encounter in life, but we can change our response and perception by learning to manage stress better. It's important to remember also that measures to reduce inflammation pay off over time with improved health and reduced risk of chronic diseases. So this brings us to the end of our topic on inflammation today, and I hope that everyone takes step to eat healthy and it's my hope that everyone that watches this video takes the step to reduce stress in their lives and exercise and eat healthy. This will certainly reduce inflammation in your body. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this video was helpful to you. Take care and stay well.